How concerned should Tennessee fans be? We'll give you our opinion. You can take part in the poll as well. What do you think of Donde Plowman fighting back against the NCAA? 89% say go get it. They're weak. It has no effect. Gets 9%. Comply, like Tennessee used to. Gets 1%. So that I can clarify to everybody what I mean by that. Tennessee has always been about opening up the book, showing the NCAA what they need to see. This goes back to Doug Dickey. A lot of people would say that he was kind of the pioneer, whereas Alabama would fight the NCAA every step of the way. And you saw what happened when they had NCAA issues in the 1990s. So that has not been Tennessee's approach. So what happened yesterday was absolutely historic. Now, my question is, was it historic because Donde Plowman knows she can, with other teams colluding, beat the NCAA at any potential punishment, or was it a little bit with a signing day that is coming up? We know it's not as important as the second signing day. So as we dig into this, how concerned should Tennessee fans be in general, but how concerned should they be about recruiting? Caleb, I want to ask you that question, and it's brought to you by the Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. Use the promo code HOOKED. It's HOOKED for 10% off. So concerned in general, but then particularly concerned in recruiting. I know you want to weigh in on.
Concerned overall, they shouldn't be concerned overall. They guys, the NCAA has already done this. They did it to Florida State, and they're doing it to flex their muscles. I want y'all to know this up front. After more I read about this, Dave, Tennessee's fighting back on principle. They're not fighting back to save themselves. They're fighting back on principle.
I agree. And you could roll over in your tummy, or you can roll over in your back, put your hands up in the air, prone position, do what you need to do to me, give me 10 scholarship reductions. You're absolutely right. It's not about what could happen. It's about, I'm about sick of this stuff.
Yeah, they are fighting it back on principle because they would not. The NCAA's already said they're pretty much done with postseason bans, so they're fighting on principle. This ain't going to affect recruiting at all. This won't affect signing day. The investigation in 2022 was affecting recruiting because that was an investigation that goes back pre-NIL, meaning there was a potential postseason ban that came with that. This won't affect recruiting whatsoever. And quite honestly, I think I'll give you I think this is something school should have been doing for years, backing players. Just to give you a quick example, Dave, one of the reasons I think Georgia moved on from Mark Richt, do you remember the Todd Gurley suspension?
No, actually, I don't. I covered him in
Todd Gurley was facing suspension.
Oh, yeah, the autographs.
Yeah, and basically Georgia threw him to the Wolves, and I think there was a big concern that was going to hurt them in recruiting, and that's why they went after Kirby Smart too, and that's why they moved on from Mark Richt. And so by the way, this had happened before. Remember AJ Green at Georgia with the selling the championship rings and things like that?
I'm going to make the strongest statement that perhaps I've ever made in my career. This is the beginning of the end of the NCAA. So don't be worried about recruiting. I guess it could cost you a 3-star that's thinking about signing on signing day, possibly the second signing day. But don't worry about it. With the transfer portal, with the class already in place, this would be just hella unfair if you did this in the old signing day calendar. Wouldn't you agree, Caleb?
Oh my gosh,
you did this right before. I mean, that would be like, I would wonder if it was orchestrated. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Tennessee is the school that's out in front. It's Braveheart. He's getting all the troops fired up. And that's Tennessee right now. That's Donde Plowman on that horse instead of Mel Gibson going back and forth, leading the charge. And that's exactly what Tennessee is going to try to do. And it was a matter of time till this happened. And that is what Tennessee is trying to do. And they've already got some help in Virginia. You don't think that other schools are going to fall in line? Listen, the bottom line is, while you and I don't agree or believe that Nico was just flown out to a random school like Tennessee by a collective that's based out of Tennessee. We don't believe that. But the simple fact is, how can you prove otherwise? Those intentions are in their heart. And I will tell you this, they would sign Nico too, at least if they're smart businessmen, if he came to them and said, I really don't like Tennessee, but I would still like for you to represent me now and into my NFL future, which I think a lot of these collectives want to do. They want to take that agency to the next level. But I want to go to UCLA. They'd still rep him, but this is a Tennessee collective. He was brought in to be a Tennessee guy. There's no question.
Yeah, and let's also he absolutely was. And I want to talk about why a couple of big reasons you shouldn't be concerned. One, there's a 100% chance that no postseason ban is coming. Guys, I repeat, there's a 100% chance that no postseason ban is coming. They don't do that anymore.
Oh, I don't even think that. I don't even think they'll get extended probation, but go ahead.
I don't either. Let's also bring this up with who's fighting it, Dave. And I know this is maybe a little unfair because I'm one of those people that believes you shouldn't judge the characters or the backstories of the people. You should just judge the facts. I think that's one of the problems with partisan politics is people are like, well, this person's in my party, so they must have a reason for doing something I don't like. I don't know. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. Yes. However, don't you have a little more faith in Danny White and Donde Plowman doing this than you would have Dave Hart and Jimmy Cheek?
Oh, yeah.
If Dave Hart and Jimmy Cheek said the same thing, you would think there's something there, and thou doth protest too much would be in your mind, right? If it was those two.
Yes, like when she first said it, I wondered because there's when somebody's defending themselves and they've done something wrong and they go overboard, he doth that protest too much. I believe that was, I think that was Billy Shakespeare that said that. That is what I initially thought, Caleb. I thought, but then when I really started to look into it, did more research, and Caleb and I were up researching until basically our 3:45 a.m. production meeting. We just went right into that. I think this was a calculated move, and I think she knew too. So I like the fact that she's at least somewhat ahead of the game, because from a PR standpoint, let me tell you why what we did was so big. First, if you own a business, Apex Apparel Group, man, they do so much. They design, brand, market your way, unique products to promote your business with unparalleled customer service. Full-on brand supply company. 15% off your first order. Logo design and layouts. Headquartered out of Knoxville, but they're a national dealer. One-stop shop for all products, giveaways, uniforms for your business. Spiritwear, schools, groups. Call Tyler, 865-919-3001. 865-919-3001, or go to yourapexapparelgroup.com. So while I thought she was perhaps flying off the handle, you now have Virginia jumping in. I don't believe anybody flew off the handle. And credit Donde Plowman, too, for having a source. Think about this for a second. Guys, this is the advantage you get when you're on with a couple of journalists as opposed to other options. I'm not knocking other options. I'm just telling you. So Donde Plowman knew somebody well enough in the NCAA office that she got wind of this on Monday that it was going to break, so that she could have that letter sent to the NCAA, and then they quickly made it a part of the FOIA request. So you have a retort through FOIA, which I don't know that Tennessee's ever done. This guy's is absolutely historic. This is as historic as Tennessee playing for a national championship this year. It's just short of them winning one this year. I mean, what Tennessee is doing after 50 years of saying, we'll do everything you want, NCAA. Can we shine your shoes? What would you like for breakfast? This is get the hell out of my house.
It is. And it's going to be, you're right, it's the first domino that's falling. And we'll get to the NCAA and what this means for them in a minute. But just to talk about what this means on how concerning this should be. So where are you on the scale of 1 to 10, Dave? I talked to you last night and I said I'm maybe a 4. Man, I'm down to a 1. I don't think there is anything to worry about for Tennessee.
I'm gonna be a bare minimum of always 3 if the NCAA is involved. But this is one of those situations that could change. I've been saying that for 20 years, but this could change that forever if they show to be absolutely powerless, and that very well could be the case.
I agree. And also, here's the other part. This is much. Okay, so you and I both know Greg Sankey does. Nick Saban has just retired. Greg Sankey's going to back Tennessee till the end because he needs Tennessee's success for the revenue. That Tennessee's one of the revenue generators for the SEC, one of the top ones, right? When the pie goes in of revenue from college programs and it's spread out evenly, you can guarantee Tennessee's one of the people that's producing, not taking, in the SEC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Greg Sankey needs them. Florida's joining in. I think even though they've been a laughing stock of a program, I think Greg Sankey really needs Florida too. So he's going to fight for them. Here's the other point, guys. The NCAA needs Tennessee. You don't think with I'm going to say it. Josh Heupel, Nico Iamaleava, on the precipice of being the most exciting offense to watch next year. Probably, I've told y'all this for a while. I think Tennessee will be the most ratings gold team for the next 2 years in college football. You don't think the NCAA knows that too? And you think the NCAA wants to punish a ratings gold team?
So Mead on our message board said, is this a ploy to try and take Nico out? No, I don't think it is. I think it's a reaction to Spire Sports being too loud, frankly. I think it's as simple as that. And they probably know that now, not to brag about paying a guy $2 million a year, but
not with their letter last night. They still don't know it.
That they shouldn't crow?
They still don't know they should be quiet. They released a letter last night specifically defending Nico Iamaleava, even though there's no official statement that Nico's at the heart of this.
Hey, Travis is one of our very best posters. Problem is going to be it will turn into a urination contest. Will the NCAA take one on the chin? What choice do they have, kids? Well, I mean, their budget's $80 million. I looked it up. Tennessee's just crossed the $200 million threshold, and they've got a bunch of friends that could help them out, the NCAA, that Tennessee does. So as far as how concerned you should be, I'm always going to put it at about a 3 because the NCAA is on campus and they could run across a recruiting scandal and crew, for goodness sake. So you don't ever want them on campus. But I'll argue this. I think there's a great chance that they never make it on campus, that this is stymied before it even gets rolling. And I do want to address this is in Plowman's retort to the NCAA, she said that they tried to meet with them in December. Now, I know everybody's busy, but we got these things. You may see it. Caleb's there. I'm here. We're not in the same place. We got these virtual meetings. Maybe you've heard about it. Are you telling me the NCAA can't make 30 minutes or an hour to talk about what's going on? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? So in Donde Plowman's letter, she proactively reached out to the NCAA, and they basically said, next.
Yes, which is further proof that they are on massively solid ground. Tennessee is, and they know they're on solid ground when they're fighting back. Which is why, again, by the way, to the message boards, I'm gonna no.
It sounds like you're Batman and Robin. By the way, to the Batcave.
There is no conspiracy against Tennessee on this. We'll get to the NCAA in a second on what they're trying to do, but they want Tennessee to be good. They need Tennessee to be good. They need it over the next few years. It's crucial for the SEC and the NCAA. They wouldn't do to Tennessee. They wouldn't be any harder on Tennessee if Tennessee did what Michigan did. Okay. So
speaking of what Michigan did, this post, the NCAA is a dead man walking. They get out of hand in the SEC, and Big Ten will make their own super conferences with a new TV deal. This is what Jim Harbaugh was going to have after being suspended twice. He was going to have written into his contract that he couldn't get fired for cause if he committed the worst NCAA violation in the world. That's how weak the NCAA is. And our posters are absolutely right. I mean, who are you betting on to step in the ring? Get in the ring, said Guns N' Roses. Who are you betting on to win a battle? The SEC and Big Ten tag team against the NCAA. Also, who is the guy who took over for Mark Emmert? At least Mark Emmert was a goofball, but whoever took over, remind me of his name, should be absolutely ashamed that this stuff leaks. listen, there's a new NCAA in town. So while they have some of the same employees, the first thing you should be doing, pardon me, is coming in and saying, listen, here is the deal. Don't talk to the media. But apparently no one thinks that's a fantastic idea. Portions of the program brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters. Don't trust a fly-by-night HVAC company to tell you need a new unit that could cost you thousands or more. cityheatandair.com, cityheatandair.com. So bingo, bango. That's where the NCAA is right now. Am I wrong? Who is the new cat that's heading them up that replaced
The former Massachusetts governor, Charlie Baker, is the new head of the NCAA.
Oh, well, see, that just seems, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.